My time just got completely wasted with a job interview. In my CV it clearly states I want to make at least $36K and that I'm not interested in any lower offers. So I send it out to a couple companies and the general manager of one of them calls me and asks if I'm willing to come in for a job interview. I tell him that sounds great and I ask him if he's read my CV and knows what I'm asking. He says he has and that it's all good. So on my day off, I get ready, dress nicely and I drive almost an hour to get there. We sit down and do the interview. This guy keeps on talking about how great this company is. I answer all his questions and we even discuss a couple possible strategies. This goes on for about an hour. And then he says I sound like a great fit for the company and that he would like to hire me. So we start talking about the pay and benefits. I tell him what was written in my CV and that we can agree on the $36K, and now he tells me he can't do that. He says the highest he can offer me is $32K, but he's willing to go the extra mile and do $33K. So I tell him that's below what I wanted and he just says he can't do it. So I just said I will think about and then I went on my way. Is it so hard for these people to understand what I'm asking? I'm so annoyed about this complete waste of time. When companies ask for minimum salary expectation, give the number you would be happy accepting the job for. Not resentful, not regretful, genuinely happy and feeling accomplished for getting the pay you deserve. If you really can't take less than $36K, then put $42K on the CV. Don't put salary requirements on your resume. Ask them what the salary range is for the position when they call. And politely decline the interview if it falls below your threshold. It's very annoying. But lesson learned. Never state your bare minimum. You want more than your bare minimum, but will never get it that way. Screw that guy. On to the next. As others have said, never tell them the actual minimum you'd take, because they are always going to see if they can offer a little less. It's nuts, but that's just the way the game works. Always ask up. When applying for my current job, I was hoping for $60K but would have taken anything over $55K. When asked about expected salary, I said I'd put in notice that day for $75K. Figuring they'd counter lower. They did, but their counter was $70K. I said I needed to think about it, then accepted the next day. They left feeling like they'd saved $5K. And I ended up well above both my minimum and hoped for amounts. I got asked by a job I applied to while having one. They asked my salary expectation and I said I was okay making what I do now and said $by per year. They took that to mean that I must have wanted $20,000 less per year and offered me x 20K. I emailed the recruiter and asked, why the hell would I work for less money than I'm making now? And then called them immediately. They were kind of flustered. They said they'd get back to me. Oh, here we go. x 5K and a $15,000 sign-on bonus with a 12-mo commitment. I took it, worked the 12 mos, bounced a week later back to my old workplace with a better position and x plus 40%. Accept the job. Then the day before you start, contact them and say you won't start for less than $40K. They'll balk and rescind the initial offer. But you'll have wasted their time as well with very little extra effort. I had a similar experience last year. Interviewed with a competitor company in my industry. The industry is very niche and I have tons of experience working for other companies within it. I needed a job at the time, so I asked for no less than $25 per hour when I really should have been asking for more with my experience. We do the interview. I present myself very well and impress them. They call me back a couple days later, saying how well I interviewed and how they would love to offer me the position. For a whopping $19 per hour. For the first time in my career, I actually felt insulted. I had an annoyed tone when I told them I need that to get bumped up at least a little or else I can't accept, and that I had asked for a lot more. They said they'd call me back and let me know. They never called me back. The truth is that these companies can afford to pay you what you ask for. It's not about that. It's either they don't like you enough or they figure they can just hire someone else for cheaper. Who will accept? It's a major red flag, and while it could be for any reason, like being overqualified or them not liking a stain on your shirt, always remember your worth and that there is always a gig out there who's willing to offer you what you deserve. 36K is like barely a living wage. Sad face. It still amazes me how many companies try this when it's actually so cheap for them to just give in. That extra 4K on their end, depending where you on that 4K you get, turns into 6K or about on their end with taxes and stuff. But by not giving you that little bit, they now have to spend all the resources required to bring in someone else and go through all the interviews again. I have only ever seen one company learn this lesson. Before I worked there, someone asked for a 5% raise. Company said no, and the person left. His replacement cost 15% more in salary alone, not counting lost productivity during search an hour and the manager's time doing interviews and onboarding. And in the end, that person was begged to come back for somewhere between 1,520% more. So when I got hired and I asked for $5,000 on top of their offer, the manager paused, looked at some papers and said, "We can do that. Only has ever happened once to me ever." So I just said I will think about it. Don't be polite. Tell them the truth. I'm not even going to think about this. No. It might be better to not ask or assume they read your CV closely at all. I've had folks ask questions that are clearly spelled out on my CV. I've also had folks ask me to dumb down my CV. It sounds like you might need to ask about the salary range they are looking to pay before the face-to-face interview. You don't need an exact salary, but if they say they are willing to pay 20 to 25K and you're looking for much higher than that, you can mention I'm looking in the 35 to 45K range. That usually helps them see it's not worth wasting time. So, the very first thing he did was lie to you. Do you really want to work there anyway? I would have accepted the offer and not shown up. Put 42K on your application and let yourself be talked down to 38K. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. Why are you writing a resume for a 3K a month job? Go work literally anywhere on the planet in today's economy. Fast food and retail pay that. Is it so hard for these people to understand what I'm asking? Get offered something else. I just said I will think about. You're sending mixed signals rather than just being upfront. One of my worst interview experiences was a 1.5-hour long one. They were very complimentary of my work and how I would be a great fit. At the end, they said, "We don't actually have any open positions right now." They just wanted to see if there was any local talent. My friend was selling his car for $10,000. Guy offers $5,000. Friend says number $10,000. Guy says okay $7,000. Friend says okay, new price $20,000. Don't put salary on resume. Always ask salary range before confirming an interview. Politely decline all positions where the salary range is not shared. Accept the offer and no show.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.